Hello and welcome everybody to Flicker Effect. This is episode 262 and we're recording this on Thursday, August 2nd, 2018. I'm David Lott. Joining me this episode is Bobby Jackson.
Hey, what's up?
Yasha Wilson.
Hey, everybody.
And Michelle Hillard.
Hello, the month of August sneaking up on us.
It is here. By the way, this podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, the iHeartRadio app, and YouTube. YouTube. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts, by the way, we would greatly appreciate a review. If you like the show, it helps us reach more listeners. So we thank you for that, if you are willing to do that for us.
Yeah, don't be lazy. Give us a review.
Or, yeah, just don't be lazy.
You're listening, you might as well just take a couple minutes to just give us a little review.
Or go to YouTube if that's where you like to enjoy things and leave a comment there.
Yeah.
That's one way of asking for reviews or just telling people not to be lazy about it. That's a different approach.
Hey, no other approach seems to be working, so I'm taking a different track and seeing what that does.
Stop being a bitch and review us, damn it! How about that? That's a little aggressive, but maybe it'll get some responses.
I like it. So, what's up, guys? Last weekend, Michelle and I we chatted about Comic-Con. What was that, Bobby?
No, I was just going to say, you said, what's up? And I said, it feels like it's been a while since all four of us have done a show.
It has.
Yeah.
I felt distracted by the fact that I guess like when we were at Comic-Con, we were doing more video stuff. And then we got back here. Michelle and I sat down to do a show last weekend. Then we just talked about Comic-Con. And I sat there and I looked at the dates of when we had last recorded just an audio podcast. I'm like, oh, fuck, it's been a while. And who knows if even the four of us were on that episode. I can't remember.
Right?
But yeah, it's been a while. And we might as well take this opportunity to talk about a movie. Because we talk about movies, right?
Yes, let's.
That's what we do.
Mission Impossible Fallout. Mission Impossible 6, right? This is 6.
Is it 6?
6.
It is kind of crazy to think, yeah, there's been 6 of these movies.
Because for funsies, the abbreviation has been MI6.
What? Oh, Look at what you did.
I know it. I've seen it. It's on posters. Like, that's their whole... They're like, look, it's MI6. Like,
it's on posters?
I've seen it. Dude. Oh.
What year did the first one come out?
Oh, is this a trivia thing, or you want me to look it up?
Oh man.
I have an idea, but I'm not entirely 100% sure, so I actually would like to know.
So are you thinking 97, 98? That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, 95 or 96, actually.
Okay.
Wow. Well, I have an answer.
Let's hear it.
Oh, wow, yeah.
It is 96.
It is 96. Look at that.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I was thinking 97. I was close. Yasha was on it with 96.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy when you think about how long this series has been going on. And I don't know, I mean, maybe I'm wrong in assuming this, but this hasn't been one of those franchises where it feels like, oh, we get a new Mission Impossible movie every 2 years. It seems like it took a break or something for a little while, and then we pick back up again. Because otherwise, you'd really think we'd have even more of these if they were doing them every 2 years since '96.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm looking at this. So it's like Mission Impossible is 96. Mission Impossible 2 is in 2000. Mission Impossible 3 was in 2006.
So that was a decent gap.
There's the jump.
Break.
And then it goes from 2006 to Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol in 2011.
Wow.
And
That's incredible.
Then things tighten up a smidgen, and then we got Rogue Nation in 2015, and here's where we really get tight, was Fallout in 2018. So we went from 2015 to 2018. So it's kind of tightening up now. But yeah, there's definitely been some serious time between some of the films that we have, for sure.
I don't know any other franchise that can say that.
And the fact that they do that, yeah, and I don't think so either, Bobby, but the fact that they're profitable and they do well, and it's a matter of like, what crazy shit is Tom Cruise going to do now? And it's like, what's left, man? Like, really, let's like lay it on us. Like, you've hung from planes, you've hung from helicopters. What's next? And I almost feel like he's even the one asking that question too, and we're all just kind of waiting to see what other crazy shit he's going to do.
Yeah, I feel like with me, where I've loved these movies is because of what things that you anticipate Tom Cruise doing. So when going into Fallout, I was already had these expectations based on what I saw in that first preview. I never even watched any other previews after that because I already knew that it would be starting to spoil set pieces and different aspects of the movie. So I stopped after that first one. And I mean, this movie, it doesn't disappoint you in terms of what it's doing with the action. And I really feel like when I watch this movie, knowing what Tom Cruise is doing behind the scenes and him being a part of it, the stunts, it really makes you anticipate each set piece almost to a fault in a way, because it's like I find myself intrigued by what's going on with the story and everything, but in my mind there's a part of me that's sort of like, okay, let's get to the next set action piece to see what crazy thing he's going to do. And while it's thrilling and fun to see that, it also is makes it a little bit imbalanced in terms of wanting to have just as good of a story as well as having the action. But that being said, I mean, I think a lot of times we go to the Mission Impossible movies for the action, not necessarily for the plot itself. But I really did think that as far as the story, it did a good job in terms of doing callbacks to the previous movies and being able to have some of the things he's done in previous movies come back to haunt him, so to speak. And it did also, I think, bringing back some of the older characters and seeing them interplay in this movie was good to see that camaraderie is still there within the team, and being able to, as they showed in the trailer, seeing his wife or ex or whatever back in here again, with seeing how Michelle Monaghan is sort of presented now in her life. I like the way that they did that without going too much into it. And I think as much as I can give props to Tom Cruise and the stunt work he did in this, I don't know who specifically the DP was, but between him and Christopher McQuarrie's direction, I really enjoyed the stunts and the spectacle of it, because Tom Cruise is doing a lot of the stunts. The way it was shot and shown, it was really well to where you don't have to worry about that fast cutaways and a lot of different angles. There is some of that, but for the most part, you can keep the shot steady because it's Tom doing the stuff, and they can have these mid-angle shots to where you can really see the action and get a good feel for it and really feel the impact of what that scene is showing. So to me, this was definitely up there in terms of where I enjoyed the series and getting exactly what I wanted from it. I'm not sure I would say it's my favorite. I still feel like it'd be a close race to call between Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, and then this one. I still, in my mind, just thinking about it, lean towards Ghost Protocol. But I don't know that if I really were able to sit down and watch all three, how it would feel given some more time. But just on the initial reaction, I still say Ghost Protocol is my favorite of the series, but this was still really, really good.
I was going to say real quick, so the good and the bad to Tom Cruise doing so many of his stunts. One is we get, like you're saying, like we're not getting as many cutaways. Like you're seeing this actor really challenge himself and go through, and you see these stunts go through, and it's incredible to see on film. The downside to it is that, from what I understand, is because he's so into doing it, it tends to lead his co-screen actors and actresses, people that he's working with, co-workers, they all decide that they want to step up their game and start doing these kind of things too. And so they're like, well, you know, Tom's encouraging me to challenge myself, and I believe in him. And so then, you know, they try to step up their game, and I think it's a good thing that they try to, you know, and so they get encouraged to try to do some of their own stunts. And I will say most of the time it comes out really well, and I think it looks good on screen. And I think it makes for a better quality film, especially in the fight sequences and the action sequences. The downside of that is that you get actors and actresses and end up on the injured list. But
Well,
I don't think that really happened. I don't think it really
say-
happened on this film, but I will say it's encouraging to see that he kind of makes other actors and actresses strive for more realism, and I don't know, it's funny.
Well, I mean, he did hurt himself on this
Oh,
film.
yeah,
I mean,
he
didn't they
did.
stop production one of those times because he jumped from one building to the
Yeah.
next, which was an amazing stunt. I give you that, but it's like he like fractured like a couple of his ribs or something like that, and they had to basically stop production for a while.
Yeah, he messed up his ribs and his hand. One of his hands kind of pretty bad.
in his foot,
His
because you
foot.
see him in the scene limping because he didn't call cut and he finished that scene.
That's
You
right.
see him limping as he jumps onto the rooftop or pulls himself
Yeah,
up.
he pulls
And,
himself up, and you could see him literally gimping away across the rooftop. And
Yeah,
I was sitting there in the
yeah.
theater going, "Yeah, he really messed himself up on that one."
I will say though, Michelle doing their own stunts. I will say the one person who was probably sitting back and like, nah, you go ahead and do your thing, Tom. I'm gonna just chill. Is probably Ving Rhames, because I don't think I saw him do much of any kind of action. Other,
Yeah, I would say Ving is
He
usually the
ran
one that
more.
kind of hangs back and plays the cool guy, and he's like, "Nah, y'all can do your own stunts. It's cool." But
Yeah, he's like, no, I'm good. I'm good waiting in the van. I'm good with being in the van. That's totally fine.
yeah, but I mean, yeah, as a whole, you can tell like he definitely has everybody wanting to bring their A game to the set. You can tell. Anyways, that's just my thoughts on that.
yeah, now with that, I think I saw something on Twitter, and someone had mentioned something about The Rock and Tom Cruise, and The Rock responded, and he was something like, yeah, like him and Tom Cruise in a movie needs to happen, sort of thing. And I was like, yeah, man, that actually would be kind of cool to see The Rock and Tom
Oh,
Cruise.
I'd be all in. I'd be all in. Whether it's a buddy comedy, like, I mean, I would love to see them both do kind of an action, like, type of role. Just, I mean, Tom Cruise even doing a Ethan Hunt type role, and then having The Rock do a role like he did in, I want to say it was Central Intelligence. Where he
Okay,
was just
yeah.
kind of goofy but silly, but he was still a huge badass. Like, I mean, nobody really talks about that film. I don't really hear many people mention it. I actually thought it was very, very funny. So it's like, I mean, I think The Rock playing something outside of his wheelhouse or his character, and then playing it next to Tom Cruise, and both of them doing some of their stunts and their action would be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
I agree.
David, you've been quiet. What do you
just
think
been listening.
about this?
And you, Michelle, you went on this whole thing, but you didn't say what you thought of the movie.
Well, I was just jumping into the
Well,
conversation.
Go ahead, you were talking.
I have to echo Bobby on this one. I really enjoyed this film a lot. It was a lot of fun. It's, I don't know. There's something about this group that they have, these actors and the way they've developed these characters, that it just fits. It jives really well. They read off each other. Everybody has a quality that somebody else doesn't have, so it brings something to the table. It's good, and I like it a lot. I don't know. I think the only downside was I feel like I didn't see any Jeremy Renner. That was kind of a bummer.
Yeah, that would have been kind of cool.
But otherwise,
Sorry,
what were you gonna say, Yasha?
go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say. Otherwise, though, I'm really happy with it. I really like Rebecca Ferguson a lot. Like, there's just something about her. She's captivating, and the fact that she likes doing her own stunts and she likes challenging herself. yeah, it's a really good one. I thought the script was done really well. The addition, I think, of Henry Cavill, and now I've just blanked on her name.
Angela Bassett.
Thank you, Miss Bassett. I think I think they're really good additions to what happened on screen. It was really enjoyable to watch from start to finish, and I don't know. I mean, it was interesting in a way, and I'm trying not to go into spoilers or anything like that. But it was interesting to see, you know, who the villain was for this, because going backwards, I don't think we've had similar villains as a repetitive like idea. And I'm saying that, and he's in the trailer, so I can't feel like I'm not like making any crazy statements here. But I don't know, it was interesting, and I kind of liked that in a way. But I'm also kind of glad it ended in the notes that it did. So I don't know. Going forward, I think it's going to be a fun series if they do more, and which I'm hoping they do more. And yeah, I don't know where it falls for me in placement. So the other week before seeing this, decided to revisit Mission Impossible 3, and it was really enjoyable watching Mission Impossible 3, and I'd recently watched Ghost Protocol and Rogue Nation, so I kind of have all of them fresh in my head, and yeah, it's hard. I would have to say that now I think Mission Impossible 3 and Ghost Protocol are kind of tied in a spot, and that this one and Rogue Nation are tied for like number 1. If that makes any sense.
Oh, okay. So you're saying Rogue Nation is number 1. They're like tied for number 2.
I would say
Ghost
Rogue.
Protocol
I would say,
3.
yeah, I would say Rogue Nation and Fallout are tied for 1 for me. I really enjoyed Rogue Nation a lot, and this one too. Surprising. I mean, it's surprising that I like them as much. They're number 1, and I would say in the 2 spot is a tie between Mission Impossible 3 and Ghost Protocol. There, and I've really always enjoyed Ghost Protocol a lot too. So yeah, I don't know.
That would be tough for me. I mean, I'll say up front, yeah, I loved Fallout. I thought it was great. The action set pieces are just, yeah, like the bathroom scene, the scene we see in the trailers, I'm not surprised.
Bathroom scene.
But like, I'm watching the bathroom scene, I'm thinking, man, I haven't watched The Raid in a while. I really need to watch that movie. I need to watch The Raid 2. I haven't watched that in a while. But like, that's the level of kind of action we're getting, and not even just like, oh, great choreography, but just the way they're shot, the inset piece in this film, the way it's shot, just it's like, I don't even know what to say without just sounding too gushy.
I was on the edge of my seat the entire end scene. I was just like, oh my, like I was anxious, like I had anxiety in a good way.
But then like going to the trying to rate it, for me, I don't know, like I think these last 4 Mission Impossible films, 3, 4, 5, and 6, they're just kind of all good for me. I don't really know that if I absolutely had to pick one above the rest, probably edge out with Ghost Protocol maybe. And I'm saying that too, having seen all of them fairly recently, kind of rewatching all of them. And I've always had a special love for 3. I feel like 3 doesn't get enough attention. Like even just lately listening to other podcasts and such, I feel like everyone is like, oh, ever since Ghost Protocol, everything's been great. I'm like, I don't know. I really like 3. Like 3, I thought was pretty fucking solid.
It was.
After rewatching it again this other week.
That was the one with Philip Seymour Hoffman, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, and I'm just like, yeah, because that one's up there for me too. Like I really liked it, and I think I really liked it so much because Philip Seymour Hoffman played such a calm and evil bad guy.
Yeah,
like it was just so
it's creepy.
He's such a captivating actor, and I miss him, and I miss his talent.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like, I mean, the line of like lack of intimidation when it came to him, his first being caught, was just like, do you have a family? Do you have somebody you care about? Like, it's just it's just, his reaction was just perfect. Like, I just thought it was something so different than what we've seen from any character that they did. And I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. After rewatching it this other week, I was like, oh, damn it. This one is solid. Like, I was like, oh man, I forgot how I had forgotten how good it was. But
then Ghost Protocol, I think there's just maybe little things that somewhat edge it out. Like, I really love the way that movie opens with them breaking him out of the prison. Just a really good scene. I mean, there's other stuff in it too. I don't know.
I love the
Basically, the 4 movies are almost kind of equal.
I love the chasing that happens while the dust storm's going on.
Yeah.
There's something about that sequence that is so spectacular, and they're on the interstate, on the highway, and they're going opposite direction, and they're speeding. I'm just like, and the storm's going on around them, so you can't see jack shit in front of your face. I'm like, it's done really well. Ghost Protocol's done really well, and then really the whole twist with like Jeremy Renner's character and everything. God dang, it was good. I love.
Yeah, it was. It was fantastic.
It was good. Ghost Protocol is such
like,
so good.
That twist right there was just so good, and like just having him show that he can handle himself and everything like that was a lot of fun to watch. And I'm with you on that. Like, I mean, if I had to rate them, like in all honesty, those are great films and they're fun. I hold a special place in my heart for the very, very first one because I didn't know what I was going to get when I saw the first one. I didn't know what to expect. So I think that's why I really, really enjoyed that one because there were so many twists and turns and everybody dies and it's just an introduction to all these characters. And, you know, you have an idea that there's going to be a sequel, but you never really know if there's going to be a sequel. And it was just so good. And then following that would definitely probably be the one with Philip Seymour Hoffman, number 3, and then Ghost Protocol was so good as well. So it's like those are right there. And I mean, I enjoyed this one a lot, and I have things to say, but it was the chase scenes and everything that were the action. And David, you're right, that bathroom fight scene. Everybody, you're right, that bathroom fight scene was just so spectacular. And Henry Cavill's character fit really well into that role that they were playing, and in that bathroom, just like the fight scene. Just enough humor and just enough violence, I guess you could say, to really make it kind of work. It was great.
I think I'll actually though, and I loved Fallout, but I don't know. I think I'm a little less impressed with not Henry Cavill's portrayal, but the way his character plays out. First, it's very predictable, and
I'll definitely agree with that.
And second, I think I could see him fitting into this story in another way that I think would have been more interesting to me in the end. I don't know, because then it's hard to explain that without really talking about spoilers, and we're probably not really going to do that. But yeah, I think there's something about kind of what happens with him that I'm just like, oh, okay, like it's fine, I guess. But it's just, I think the predictability of it just kind of. I'm
with you. I think if I had one negative about this whole film is I feel like, and they kind of, in a weird way, it was interesting at one point in the movie, they actually kind of started talking to each other, but basically it was filling in the audience of how the end game was going to go down. And part of me was like, oh, they're setting us up to think this is how it's going to go down, and there's going to be another huge twist, and then really this is how it's going to go down. And that's not what happened, because I will say that's kind of a theme with Mission Impossible, is you're constantly, what you think is about to happen, that ain't going to be what's going to happen.
Right.
And there's constantly a turn, and you're like, wait, well, how the hell they pull that off? Wait a second. I thought it was going to go like this, and it didn't. And so it was interesting how this one, I don't think, had an overall, at the very end, like, holy crap, the way they told us it was going to happen isn't what happened. They did it a whole different way, and now I'm really confused. But now I'm piecing it together slowly because I can't think that quickly, and oh my God, this is brilliant. So I feel like that was kind of the one difference in this film that I'm not sure if I liked or didn't like that. Do you know what I mean? At the end, there wasn't like this big, like, oh, that's how this is panning out. Like, it was very, they explained exactly how they were going to do it, and that's exactly how they did it.
Okay. Like, you felt like there should have been one last, like, oh shit kind of twist almost in the end of the film that wasn't there.
Because I feel like they always do that, right?
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I'm thinking of, like, the first movie that comes to mind, Ghost Protocol. I'm trying to think about how that ends, and there's nothing about the ending that felt like, oh, wow, I didn't see that coming, like, right at the end, I don't know.
I think, like, and they totally made a whole joke out of it in Fallout with the whole, like, grown men playing in masks situations. So if I think about, say, Rogue Nation, the facial masks played a huge part in the last bit of the film. And then in this one, it played a big part about 2/3 of the way through. That was when the big reveal kind of came to fruition. So I guess in a way, that scene was kind of the whole like, oh shit, this isn't going down the way I thought this was going down kind of moment. I guess. Do you know what I mean? I feel like
Of course,
it
now
always
I'm trying to think about this in particular scene. I'm like, wait, what's
when
she talking about?
they're
No, you're right. I mean, what Michelle is referring to, it is, and I don't know that it's meant to be a big twist.
It's not that
meant to be a
big.
twist.
It's just a little
but
one.
Yeah, exactly.
But-
it's a smaller one, but I think it's one to just do a call back to them talking about the fact that those masks and the effectiveness of those masks,
Right.
It gives you that little aspect, and then it's off to that third act and really sort of
right. But I
get
feel like they always, before they do
Yeah.
the final, like, chase or hunt or, theft or whatever it is they have to accomplish, they always kind of, in a weird way, tell you what they're going to do. And then as it turns out, that's a slight version of what they're going to do. What they really do is so much bigger than that. And in this one, I feel like they kind of came out and they're like, this is what we're going to do. And it was like, oh, shit, they did exactly
Well,
that
there's
thing.
one major aspect of that final scene that they didn't go, hey, this is going to happen with certain flying. that wasn't in their plan.
No, I will give you that. That entire
that was
chase
like
scene.
a major
That
part
entire
of
chase scene was
the
not part of
end.
their plan. I will agree with you there.
So I don't think they completely predicted their ending.
No, okay, I'm with you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I digress. I liked Fallout. I'm happy with it.
now my
Go team, go.
only thing with this franchise is, I mean, I don't know if are we going to get another movie
I don't know.
And if we do, these have all been great. Again, these last 4 films, I don't think they could have done a better job. But it's like you gotta get that sense of are we going in the, and hear me out here, please. The comparison I'm about to make, you may laugh, but I'm not really going to compare this to this franchise, but
I think I already know where you're going.
you look at the Fast and the Furious. You look at the Fast and the Furious franchise and how they've now gone to the point of just complete ridiculousness with how over the top they feel like they
Right.
constantly have to top themselves.
Right.
And it's like this.
I didn't hear what franchise you were talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. They might, but I mean, I have an idea now. But it's like, what franchise?
Oh, I said Fast and the Furious.
The Fast and the Furious.
And just how, in that franchise, they constantly feel the need to top themselves in the movie before. And don't get me wrong, these movies are insanely better than those films. But at the same time, what do you do in this next movie?
It's the best comparison, honestly, because this is, if they do another film, it's going to be number 7. That's pretty major in a film series. And so here's the question: are they going to try to overdo it, and then it just is like, oh wow, this is total crap, or are
Or
they
do
going
they
to be
just
able to keep?
completely do a 180 and make it he's now in an office job?
I mean, are they going to keep it on par? We don't know.
And they make the film more intelligent, almost more like the very first Mission Impossible, where he
Right.
definitely did action scenes in that first one. But for the
Right.
most part, the first one was a little more.
mind games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mind games.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. And there's a part of me that I would love to see a 7th film, and at the same time, they ended this film really well. I mean, I wouldn't say it felt like it was just all wrapped up in a box, but it was pretty neatly done. Like they really could not go on, and that would be an okay ending to this storyline.
Honestly, I think they have put themselves in a little bit of a corner. Not one that they can't get out of, but definitely one that feels like, because of, like David said, the expectation of the audience, knowing that Tom Cruise does these stunts, it almost feels like people won't be satisfied until they see Tom Cruise die on screen, literally from doing some stunt. And then that would be the end of the series, because the expectation is there to see him top himself every time he goes and does one of these movies. And I think that I read, well, I didn't read the article, but there was something of a mention of an article that said that it seems as though Christopher McQuarrie would be coming back for another film. So, I mean, that in and of itself is good news in terms of maybe him and Tom have some ideas as to where the next one could go, and seeing that come out. But honestly, if, like Michelle said, because of the way this one ends and wraps up, I could easily see them doing the whole again, to take a page out of David's book, a Fast and the Furious thing, and doing a spinoff with Rebecca Ferguson's character and doing something like there. I mean, technically, I guess technically it wouldn't be really Mission Impossible per se because she works for the British government, but it still would sort of be within the vein of the series and have it still have that sort of level of action, but just with her as in that lead role, taking over, not necessarily taking over for Tom Cruise, but to do something in a way that could give the regular series a break while it kind of recharges it and figures out a way to go.
Like it's a side piece. Like she's doing her own thing and she's got her own little ops team that she has running, and they're doing something in between her and this situation, or this situation, say another situation. It's like her off in the field doing something else. I can kind of see that, but I don't know. I would love to see this series continue, and at the same time, like, I'd hate to see a series continue and it just be total crap. Like if the next movie just sucked, I'd be such a oh damn.
And yeah, I would definitely think that would be interesting to see her character go off into another thing, but it would almost I would almost want it to be very different. It'd have to be extremely different. Like right now, the magic of these movies is with the formula they've got, and I feel like if you take any major aspects of it and change it, like mainly Tom Cruise, I don't know, it's just it's not going to be the same.
Yeah, there's something about Tom Cruise, Ving Rhames, Simon Pegg, Jeremy Renner, Rebecca Ferguson, that core, those five, it's pretty spectacular.
Right.
I don't think she's that great.
I feel like you say these things, Yasha, just to poke.
No, I'm really not trying to, and I understand why you would say that, but it's like I don't know, like I really don't think that she's that great. I mean, her character's just fine, but honestly, I think that it'd be cool to see. I mean, I like the addition of Simon Pegg and Ving Rhames because he was in the first one. I think his character's a lot of fun, and I love Jeremy Renner, but I don't know. I just I mean, her character's cool, but I don't think that she needs her own film. Like, I don't think she would. Like, I don't know what they would do, but I mean, maybe it's because I'm thinking of it as it would have to be so different than what they're doing with what the Mission Impossible core, type of situation. Like, it'd have to be very different.
I think Michelle's deleting you from her phone right now.
Well, I mean,
why? Why is she so great though? Why is she so great?
When was the last time you watched Rogue Nation?
I was gonna say you should rewatch Rogue Nation.
You need to rewatch Rogue Nation and pay attention to what that chick does.
In fact,
it's really amazing.
In fact, that's why I sort of I won't say downgrade this movie, but that's the reason why I still hold, I think, Ghost Protocol and possibly Rogue Nation over this movie is because of Rebecca Ferguson. I felt like in Rogue Nation, she had a little bit more to do and came off better in that one than this one, which isn't to say that she wasn't good in this one. I just thought like she had some more action scenes and stuff from Rogue Nation than this one. And that one is why it elevates it to me over this one, Fallout. But I think she made a very big impression on me in the last movie, and I don't recall knowing of her as an actress before seeing her in that movie and wanting to see more of her after seeing her in that movie.
Agreed. And I mean, I have to say, yeah, she definitely doesn't have as much action scenes in this film as she did in Rogue Nation. But that last fight scene that she's in, where she starts out attached to a chair, I was like, woman, you are a badass. It was impressive. That was an impressive fight sequence. I think anybody can admit to that. That was
agreed.
baller.
Agreed. I'll say that it was an impressive fight sequence. It was cool. I'll watch it again. I'll rewatch it.
I think you need to rewatch Rogue Nation, Yasha. I cherish our friendship, and I think it rides right now on you rewatching Rogue Nation.
Well, Yasha, now that you sort of said that, I don't know if you gave your literal review of the movie in terms of like what you think of it, where you kind of place this one.
No, I thought it was fun. I thought it was a lot of fun. Like I don't want to know. I don't know if I can say it was a great one in the franchise. Maybe because some of the aspects of the film were just so remarkably predictable, but that doesn't take away from the action scenes and the fight scenes, like David mentioned, especially the bathroom scene. Like that bathroom fight scene was so cool and so kick-ass, and Henry Cavill and Tom Cruise's reaction to their fighting in that bathroom were just so much fun, and it was good. I enjoyed it a lot. Like I enjoyed it, as you know, as far as it being way up there when it comes to like ranking it. I don't think I would rank it that high because, I mean, I like to be a little surprised, and you know, since it ended pretty much the way that how it said they were going to end it, like, you know, I was like, oh, okay. Like Michelle said, you know, you're expecting a little bit more. I did like some of the entrances for some of the characters, particularly his ex-wife. You know, and that's not necessarily a spoiler because she's in the trailer. But you know, I guess I had forgotten that she was even going to be in the film. And then I was like, oh, yeah. And then when she showed up, I was just like, oh, man, that was so cool. I did not expect that. Like, for whatever reason, I just didn't think that's when it was going to happen. But the everything else was like, I mean, it was fun. It was a fun movie. I liked it. I don't think it's, you know, as high as I think some of you guys, but I did enjoy it. I could probably watch it again. I could probably watch it again in the theaters. But I don't think that... it's definitely not one of my favorites. I would go with Rogue Nation, and I definitely go with the third one. And, you know, obviously I already said I really liked the first one because I didn't know what to expect going into that one. And I think I'll still watch that. Like, that one was very much a mind puzzle or a puzzle game puzzle movie where it's like you're trying to figure out as much as Tom Cruise is. So it was fun, but...
I think it's interesting watching this. I think it's interesting watching these films. I think Tom now is just like any excuse to basically jump out of an airplane. He's totally in.
Yeah.
Like the last couple, he's always jumping out of a plane. I did watch that where he had James Corden jump out of an airplane. That was hilarious. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love how like James Corden is like cursing up a storm and he keeps looking down and Tom keeps like tilting his head back. Like just don't look back. Just don't look down, dude. Like don't look down until you're actually falling down. Like he is pushing his head back. It's cool. It's cool. But it's just interesting. Like, I think Tom just really loves jumping out of airplanes. And so he basically does it in, like, he does it in 3, he does it in 4, he does it in 5, he does it in 6. He's literally done it in the last 4 films. He's like, any sees to jump out of a plane, let's do this thing. I'm there. It's not to make any sense whatsoever, but I'm doing it.
It's funny because I know it was just a helicopter, but I did get a little bit of a smile on my face seeing Tom Cruise back in the operating of a flying vehicle,
right.
Knowing that Top Gun 2 is around the corner.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, look at Tom flying a helicopter.
Flying stuff.
Wishing he was a... Yeah. So I'm like, man, okay, this is classic Tom Cruise stuff,
yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see once Top Gun comes around how well they're able to pull that off and hopefully bring back some of the elements of what made the first one special, the aerial fights and all that stuff. I'm really hoping to see that again.
Yeah.
The Need for Speed, baby.
No, I'm looking forward to Top Gun 2. I think Michelle is a little more kind of, I don't know.
Y'all are nuts. I'm basically going to go buy me some popcorn, just watch the shit show go in front of me.
Why is it automatically a shit show?
I don't think there's a need for a Top Gun 2.
Is there a need for anything?
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I think the Top Gun, and I do enjoy Top Gun. Do not get me wrong.
I had a feeling you did.
It's such a product of its time at that time, and it captivated a moment that was happening in America, in American military, especially in Navy/Air Force, and it captured a great moment. I just don't think you're going to be able to kind of get that kind of feeling from a sequel. I just don't know if we're going to come out of it kind of with the same like feeling we walked out of that when we saw that movie in the theaters however many years ago.
I don't think it's going to try to do that, though. I think it's just going to be, I mean, yeah, it's got the name, it's got Tom Cruise,
right?
But it's been a long time. The movie is set. It's not like the movie's, they're not jumping back to the 80s and trying to act like it's,
no,
you know.
I
and I know you know
that.
I'm just saying that I think the movie is just going to be very different. And I don't know. I'm interested in it. I mean, we may see a trailer and I may completely change my tune. I might go, oh wow, this looks terrible. But we haven't seen anything yet. And as of right now, I'm like, I like the director, so I'm like, this could be cool. I'm down with it.
Yeah, I got fingers crossed.
Anyway, so yeah, Mission Impossible Fallout. I think we all liked it.
Fallout.
Somewhat varying levels.
Varying levels of enjoyment, but all enjoyed.
Who's all seeing Christopher Robin this weekend?
Yeah, I'll be seeing that.
I didn't even, by the way, I didn't even realize it was coming out this weekend. Like, I've been seeing a lot more stuff about it, like on social media and such. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, Christopher Robin. And then I just happened a little while ago to look at the release dates. I'm like, oh shit, that's tomorrow.
It's this weekend.
Okay. I'm kind of like, I don't know. I'm interested in it, but I'm not like.
I'm interested in it. I don't know. I feel like it looks like it could be pretty cute, but it's, I don't know. It hasn't drawn me completely in. Yeah, I'm mixed on it.
Yeah, no.
I don't think it looks bad. It hasn't pulled me in to want to go this weekend.
Yeah, I think I don't know, to me, I feel like every time I see it and I hear Winnie the Pooh speak, it gives me chills. And it's so weird because I didn't grow up watching Winnie the Pooh or getting into Winnie the Pooh, but I know his voice very well and the other characters. And just hearing it in the movie trailer, I don't know, it does something to me. I feel like I'm going to be sitting there watching the movie just like smiling in a way that doesn't make sense because it wasn't something that I have this real affinity for in general, but it's just, I don't know, something about it that's very cute and just a throwback, and it's lighthearted and sweet, and much in the same way I think that Paddington is. I'm kind of hoping it's kind of something like that. Obviously not to the same level of humor, but just that feeling you get, like this warmth from it when you watch it.
Right. Well, we'll probably be talking about that pretty soon then. I'll probably see it. I don't know. We'll see.
Has anybody gone out to see Mamma Mia 2?
I had no desire. I didn't see Mamma Mia 1, so I wasn't going to go see Mamma Mia 2. I've seen a lot of movies, and none that I have talked about on the show yet, but I was not planning to see Mamma Mia 2. But
I'm just messing with you guys.
No, I mean, I'm sure there's people out there. It did okay for itself, and the first one did very well for itself.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that was waiting for it, and I didn't know if you were one of those people, but
I was not one of those people. But I will admit, like I could see in my future, somewhere down a year or two from now, some night, me and Mamma Mia 2 and a bowl of popcorn and a big old bottle of wine, we're going to have a night. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I'm just saying it's not going to happen anytime soon, but I can see it's going to be happening down the road.
I think there was a couple other movies this week I wanted to try and see, actually, now that you talk about it. There was that one movie that looks like it's kind of like X-Men without being X-Men.
The Darkest Minds.
Oh yeah. I remember the first time I saw the trailer, I was like, is this what I'm thinking this is? Because this kind of feels like...
No, you haven't seen the trailer? Yeah, you watch the trailer and you'll definitely X-Men will come to mind.
Oh, for sure.
There's that one, and then I think it's called Blind Spotting, I think, is the other movie.
Is that getting a wide release?
Well, I know it's available near me. I don't know if I didn't know if it was a limited release now.
I would kill to see Blind Spotting, but I have a feeling Blind Spotting will not be playing probably anywhere near me, like, ever. Blind Spotting got a lot of, for anyone who doesn't know, it's got a lot of praise at Sundance. Yeah. I don't even know if I've seen much from it. It's just purely based on the praise I hear about it. I'm like, yeah, I have to see this. But
so you haven't seen the trailer at all?
I think I have. I think I did see the trailer, but it's been a little while since I've seen it, I feel like. But purely based on all the praise, it's like one of those films. It's like, all right, well then, I will see it at some point when I get the chance. But no, I don't. It looks like I'm looking at a list here. I don't see a wide release for it, but that doesn't mean the list I'm looking at is accurate. So.
Yeah, I think if you take a look at that one, it has an interesting, I guess, concept to it, but it's more about, from what I can understand, the elements at play within the movie that really is what people are responding to. But just from the trailer, you see this guy who's on probation, and he's trying to stay out of jail. And he one night witnesses a cop shoot this unarmed black man in the back, and then he's kind of like dealing with that on top of dealing with other aspects of what's going on in his life. And it stars with Daveed Diggs from the play Hamilton. So it's kind of like been getting a lot of buzz.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
I wanted to see. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, in the other movie that is out this weekend that I kind of want to see, but I know I'm not going to see it, is The Spy Who Dumped Me. I'm sure it's on a Netflix.
I kind of want to see that one.
I might check it out, but I don't think I'll be seeing it this weekend.
That one looks like that one looks like a fun, like, girlfriend night out chick flick movie. Like, that looks cute. I think that one looks funny. I'm down with it.
Easy watch. Yeah, it looks funny. That definitely looks like an easy watch. I wanted to see Sorry to Bother You. Have you guys seen the trailer for that? Was it as funny as it looked? Because it looked really funny.
Yeah. We would need another podcast.
Never mind. Yeah, never mind.
I'll say this. I like, but I can't give it a due justice by kind of giving it a 2 or 3 sentences here. So yeah, once we have some more time to talk about it, I'll definitely get into it.
So I got a question for you guys, because we have not spoken about this like at all since this happened, but I'm just gonna say James Gunn.
Man, you wanna talk for a good 30 more minutes to an hour?
Okay, so here's my thought process on this. This is why I'm bringing this up. One is, so this dropped, what was that, Friday, and David and I were in Hall H, and we, like, just before we decided to leave Hall H to head out for lunch, like, I'm sitting down, and all of a sudden, like, the room, like, everybody starts looking at their phones, and everybody's like, wait, what? It's this whole, like, eruption of everybody freaking out. And then we head over to the Hilton to get lunch, and it's all anybody's talking about. They're like, did you? But the James Gunn, I can't believe, what the hell? This is messed up. Ba-da-da. Oh my God. Like, it's literally all that was buzzing. And I feel like the 4 of us haven't really had a chance to discuss it. And while, I mean, I don't think we need to get, like, into deep thoughts on it. It's been resurfaced more recently because basically the entire cast has come to his to his support system to basically state, you know, like, look, like, do we agree with what he said in tweets from 10 plus years ago? Hell no. But at the same time, there's this man that's in front of us right now that we've grown to know as a person, to enjoy his company and his thoughts and his ideas when it comes to the story that we were telling, and blah, blah, and yada, yada, yada. And you know what? We're with him. We back him. It's cool. Like, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody should learn from their mistakes. It seems like he has, and it should be a redemption story, and it's getting thrown back into him. And so I'm just wondering kind of like what your guys' thoughts were, because I'll admit, like, I'm basically with the cast on this one. Like, do I agree with anything he said? No. I also acknowledge I said dumb shit back 10 years ago. Like, I'm sure I can go back and go, ooh.
Well, I mean, real quick, for anyone listening, we should quickly recap. So anyone who doesn't know, and most likely if you're listening to this podcast, I probably do know, but so what, James Gunn, 10 years ago, 7 to 10 years ago, he was kind of just tweeting a bunch of stupid jokes, and yeah, they weren't great. They were
not good.
They were terrible jokes.
They were not good.
And yeah, they a lot of them are pretty offensive, and I guess, and I don't have any of this information in front of me, but I know it's come back to haunt him more recently, in that it seems like a conservative blogger or two have kind of brought them back. You know, not surprisingly, because James Gunn is definitely a celebrity who has not hidden his opinions on the internet.
Right.
You know, his opinions on the current administration. Like, he does not hold back. He's not the most PC person on the internet when it comes to stuff like that. He doesn't care. He has an opinion. He shares it. And so I could see why certain conservative personalities have then chosen to find a way to attack him because of that. So I guess because of them bringing those tweets back, Disney has chosen to fire him from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. He directed the first two films. If for some reason you had never heard of whoever James Gunn is, yeah, he's director of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and Volume 2.
And writer.
And writer. And so yeah, he has been fired from Volume 3. And that's what we are talking about, for anyone who doesn't know. So you're curious to know what we think?
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious, because I'll look at just that. Like, basically, it was really shitty. They're not funny jokes. They're very offensive. But I also acknowledge that he's only human, and it appears that he has learned from his mistakes and grown from them. You know, when I look at his films and I see the stories he writes about people treating each other with respect and dignity, and diversity being a major portion of it, and family and friends. And I think if I look at what I've seen now to what then, I'd been like, this is not the same human being, you know, like, he's obviously grown. And so I can't hold somebody accountable for things that they might have said or done or thought was funny at the time for that long ago at this point, especially when I can clearly see that they no longer think or feel that way currently. So at this point, it's like a redemption kind of thing. So I think it's kind of silly.
I mean, I'll jump in first. I'll say it's insane. I think it's ridiculous he got fired.
I think it's ridiculous he got fired.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, even to say, like, the jokes he made, which were terrible jokes, it's also, I don't know where to begin, but he was trying to say things just purely for the purpose of being, what's the word I'm looking for? Just jarring, you know, like, it's not like he was even saying things online, like things he truly believed. But even if he was, I mean, even like, let's not even go down that road of trying to interpret his tweets. They were 10 years ago. He had previously apologized for them years ago. This isn't like a new thing that's just come up for the first time. He has mentioned them in the past and said, hey, it was stupid, blah, blah, blah. And for Disney to fire him now in reaction to a conservative personality, you know, bringing them back and demanding that he get fired was shocking to me that they went that far. And it's unfortunate. And, you know, you could say, well, you know, maybe you're saying this purely just because, you know, it works out for you because you like him, you like his movies. And I'm saying this as someone, you can go back and hear my opinion on Volume 2. I wasn't a big fan of Volume 2. In fact, I think I said on this podcast that I would prefer someone else direct Volume 3. And I like James Gunn. I've seen him in a panel before. He seems like an insanely nice guy. I would love to know James Gunn, but at the same time, yeah, I mean, my opinion on his professional, life and that film, I wasn't a big fan of Volume 2. And so in a way, you could argue that I'm getting now what I want, but no, not like this.
Not like this. Not like this. No.
And if there's any of all the Marvel films, these are the ones that feel most tied to their filmmaker. I mean,
for sure.
He's very connected to the Guardians of the Galaxy films. And as much as I may have, said I kind of wish maybe somebody else would direct Volume 3. I mean, I kind of want him to finish up his trilogy.
At this point, yeah.
But yeah, I think it's insane that they fired him. I'm getting really sick and tired of hearing the comparisons to Roseanne and what happened with her in that show. And I don't think it's even close to being the same. For one, she said that very, very recently while the show is in production. This with him happened 10 years ago. We should want people to change and get better. And that's exactly what has happened. And instead now we're punishing him for something he said 10 years ago. It's nuts. And unfortunately, Disney is probably not going to backtrack and rehire him. And it is what it is now. And I think it's a shockingly terrible mistake that they've made, but it's done. And I'm sure Kevin Feige is pulling his hair out and, wishing that this was not happening, but it is happening. So I don't know what's going to happen, but that's my opinion. I mean, real quick. What? What's so funny?
It was just funny how you ended it.
Anybody else want to jump in on this?
No. Crickets now. Wow.
No, I mean, I don't know exactly what the jokes were. I just read clips here and read a little bit here and there. And honestly, I'm with you, David and Michelle. It's like, honestly, he could have said anything. I feel like he could have almost said anything back in the day, but it was like 10 years ago. And I really don't think that, I mean, like I said, I don't necessarily know what the jokes were, but it's like, I don't feel like that's the person that's presented to us now, and the fact that they're just calling for his head, it's frustrating to hear. It's kind of sad to hear.
Bobby, want to jump in at all or no?
I mean, you guys have said most of it. It's just hard to keep sort of talking about it in the way that it's, because it just sets a bad precedent. And it just means that, okay, so now Disney, you better be treating everybody the same way. You better be going back and looking at everybody's tweets and stuff and seeing who should be fired from stuff. When you acquire Fox, go and look at everybody on the TV shows that you're going to be having now and look and see if they should be fired. It's just bad. It's just like, it's just messy and bad. And so I don't really feel any differently than what you guys said. And you guys have proven. The thing that stands out to me the most is the fact that he apologized years after or during that time frame, and it's been years since that apology. And so how did they not take that into account? It's just all around bad, and it just makes me not understand how they're going forward. And is this like, okay, well, we made mistakes in the past and blah blah, and here's our line in the sand, and this is where we're starting from for today. So then you better be diligent about it in the future and make sure that we don't have this situation again. Because I think about how they handled the whole John Lasseter thing, and it's like he was put on leave for a minute while they investigated. So why didn't he just get immediately fired? So it's just, it's just duplicitous, and it's fitting their needs to a certain degree. And I don't really know that there'll be any good resolve for this from anyone feeling good about it. So it's just kind of like at this point, it is what it is, and it sucks. But now the way I look at it ultimately is he's not unhireable. I'm pretty sure Warner Brothers will snap him up for a DC product.
Yeah.
So we'll get him on something else, and I'll go watch whatever else is he makes somewhere else.
He'll still have a spectacular career with other. He'll still have a spectacular career with other studios for certain. And yeah, I'm with you, Bobby. Like, I feel like Disney has gone down a very slippery slope here, and I don't know. I just think this whole situation could have been handled so much differently by the Disney Corporation. It was just bad.
And also, I have to say, like, it makes me uninterested in a Volume 3 at this point. Like, seeing another Guardians of the Galaxy film now, I just kind of don't care. Like.
Yeah, which, I mean, I'm only going to see it at this point purely for the connection for the other films in the Marvel universe. But
even just the production of it in general. First of all, who wants that job now? Like, who wants to take that job?
To go under the microscope.
Yeah, to be like, okay, well, I'm going to replace him. I mean, because pretty much I would say unanimously everyone is like, why the fuck did he get fired? And
most everybody loved 2. You're not a big lover of 2. I'm not the largest fan of number 2. And so, I mean, yeah, but that will say the general population loves those films. And
then that cat, I mean, they're all professionals. If this movie gets made and they're all under contract to do it, they'll do it. They'll do their jobs well. I mean, God, none of them are going to want to. And it's just going to be an awkward situation. And I don't know, like, the whole thing is just crazy. And,
that first table read is going to be really fucking awkward.
You think?
Everybody's going to be like, so hey guys, I'm Steve. So let's go ahead and go through this. Chris, do you want to start?
I can only imagine someone taking the job if whoever it is, like James Gunn, goes out of his way to reach out to them to be like, look, I give you my blessing, and says so publicly.
Right.
Like, hey, everybody, I'm James Gunn. Taika Waititi should make this film. Have him, everyone, it's going to be great, blah, blah, blah. And then I could see, that would be the best case scenario for Disney, is that if Gunn plays nice and does that kind of thing, that smooth things over.
And I'm sure he will, honest to God. I'm sure he will. I would love to be a fly on the wall for that first table read. I'm with Yasha. It would be entertaining. Could you just see, like, all of them just sitting there, kind of slouching their chairs, like, yeah, fuck this place.
Arms crossed. I don't want to fucking work with Steve. I want Jim in here.
Right. Like, you just see them sitting there, arms crossed, and, like, they'll be, like, reading their lines without any energy, whatever.
Right.
Be like, so Groot, what'd you have for lunch today? I am Groot. Okay,
and I just find it interesting too, just because recently we got word that AMC cleared Chris Hardwick to come back to do his shows on the network after doing their investigation to see that he did no wrongdoing. And then there's the whole blow up with CBS and Les Moonves being investigated for sexual harassment, but yet he's still getting to work while the investigation goes on. But then, James Gunn gets fired after this, and he had apologized, and you see that his behavior hasn't been that way. And it just allows no room for second chances, or especially when you know that the person looks to appear to make changes in their life. So it just sucks. And there was a whole thing that me and David had talked about, that James Gunn was supposed to be on a Sony panel at Comic-Con, and that project, I don't know if it got removed or if it's just put on hold for now, but it really affected his job in terms of what he had lined up probably for the future. So yeah, it just sucks.
I mean, yeah, with that, part of me feels like now that, things will eventually calm down, I wouldn't be surprised if Sony still says, okay, yeah, we had hired him to do this. We're still going to allow him to do it, especially as more and more support comes out for him.
Yeah, I think everybody's in the same boat that we all are.
I could see why in the moment, day of or whatever, day of or the day before, like they were like, okay, I guess we're going to pull him from the panel because...
I think that was a wise decision, just because it literally had just freaking happened. Like, that was a wise decision.
He would have had to have come out, and everyone would have been expecting a statement, and they would have quickly dumped a Q&A, being like, nope, we're not taking any
But even then,
questions.
like, can you imagine him coming? Like, could you even imagine him even wanting to? Even if they're like,
yeah,
we
just
still
to
want you
be
on the
there.
panel, he'd probably be like, well, I don't want to fucking be on the panel, and that's how I'd feel. I'd be like, I don't want to go out there. I don't want to talk about this. I want to go get drunk and bitch about Disney. Okay, that's what I'm doing today. Thanks, kids. Have a good night. And that's, I mean, shit. So yeah, no, I think it was a good call for somebody to be like, you know what? We're just not gonna do this panel this year. We're just not doing this. Good call on their half.
Well, with that,
I'm
No,
trying to.
let's talk about something else. What did you guys think of the new Venom trailer?
Oh yeah, there was that. I'll say for my part. No, I mean I'll say for my part, it looks better than what the first trailer looked like for me, and seeing the character of Venom, it really did seem like Venom. It seemed like the comic book character come to life, and I can't say that any of the stuff outside of seeing the character excited me. Like when I saw Tom, I keep wanting to call him Tom Brady.
Hardy.
Tom Hardy,
Hardy.
thank you. Gosh, seeing him when he was just as Eddie Brock, I don't know. It didn't get any kind of any emotion from me. But seeing the Venom parts, I was like, okay, this looks like this could be something, and it looks like they're making it in a way that they're changing the origin story to where there's no Spider-Man component needed. So then, okay, that's it. I can go with that in the sense that if they're taking it out of the way the origin story exists with Spider-Man, then it's some other kind of thing, the way it crashes to Earth and exists, and it doesn't have the spider on his chest and that stuff. So, okay, then I can let it be on its own, but then it still has to be a good movie. And I'm not particularly saying that I think it can be good or that it will be good, but I think at least from the parts that I see of the Venom stuff looks good, and it gives me the possibility that the movie might be good.
Okay.
I mean, Michelle and I talked about this when we talked about the Comic-Con stuff, because this is the same trailer they showed in Hall H. But
Right.
yeah, I'll say, as someone who doesn't know Venom that well, I thought it actually looked pretty good. I liked it more than I liked that first trailer we saw. So, yeah, I don't know. I like the look of Venom, and apparently he still needs to look even better according to what they told us in the panel. They still have a lot of work to do on him, and I'm like, man, I don't know. I was impressed.
No, I thought it looked pretty good. I wish I could expound upon it. It was a good trailer, and it gives you definitely gives you a much better view of Venom. Yeah, no, looks,
Yeah, I think it's
looks
hard for me to kind of add more to it since I don't really know the character that well. It's like I just come from the point of view like right now, okay, it's a good trailer. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's kind of where I am.
it's good.
Well,
It's good.
Yashi, you didn't say what you thought since you brought it up.
No, I think it looks good. I think it looks fun. I mean, definitely interested in seeing it. Like I want to see it. I like Tom Hardy though, so it's like I'll watch almost anything that guy does. He's just a phenomenal talent, and he really sinks his teeth in the role. I'm like you, Bobby. I'm familiar with the alien symbiote, and the whole character of Venom and all that stuff, and the Spider-Man ties, and I know all that stuff. So I'm interested to see how they're going to portray this and get this moving forward, and give him his own origin story per se, and that sort of thing. I'm not entirely sold on exactly how Brock is being portrayed just yet, but I definitely want to see it. Looks like they've implemented a little bit of humor here and there, so I'm kind of interested to see how that goes. The special effects look pretty amazing, and if you're telling me that they have more that they're going to do, then I'm looking forward to seeing that too. So I'm interested. I'm definitely interested in seeing it, because there's a lot that comes with this character. So a lot of different possibilities and a lot of different realms that come with it. So it's just a matter of they're going to be able to actually pull it off. So it should be fun.
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely seen the anti-hero come up in this day and age, especially in film now. So I don't know. I think people are going to be, they'll be rooting for this one.
When does that one due out?
October.
October.
Oh wow, that soon?
I think I was thinking November in my head for some reason, but yeah.
Yeah, October 5th.
Oh, that's right.
I tell you what I'm really looking forward to, and I was just reading about it earlier today. And I'm really looking forward to is the biopic that Tom Hardy's in, where he plays Al Capone. Like, I'm really interested in seeing that.
I forgot about that. It's been a while since I've heard anything about that movie.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, it's time to wrap things up. For
wrap.
everyone listening, we'd love to hear back from you. You can reach us on Facebook, on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Just search for Flickr Effect, or in the case of Twitter, Flickr_Effect. We'd love to hear from you. And I'm David Lott.
Before we sign out, I just want to say sorry that I'm happy that Carrie Fisher is back for episode 9, but we can talk about that some other time.
Oh, yeah.
And watch us on YouTube, rate us on iTunes, and I'm Bobby Jackson.
I'm Yasha Wilson.
And I'm Michelle Hillard.
Thanks for listening.